Good morning. All right, looks like we're live. I've got two different servers pulled up here for the 8:30. Let me get this posted up on Telegram. If you guys have any questions, obviously feel free to throw them in the chat this morning. We are going live. Let me see here. I need a link for this, don't I? All right, I think we got everything going up. You should see two servers here. We've got the US30 breakout bot running on Longhorn here, and I've got two going back to back here. If I can get them pulled up, I'm going to have the, let's see if I can get this to work. I can have that. I've got the Ranger bot, which is a J-blanked version of the US30 bot designed to grab 1% profit on the market in the morning. And I've got, see if I can get this to pull up here just a little bit so I can click through here. And I've got his HFT, which I tested yesterday on Ox. Don't know if the HFT will work on a live account. We're just getting it tested there. So let me see. Stream settings. Oh, there we go. There's my stream. And so I do have a link in there for jblank.com if you want to get that under that community. Pretty interesting stuff going on there. And we are going to, none of these really should be doing anything until 8:30. So we're getting everything set up and we're going to let it go. We've got a little bit of movement going on here on US30 ahead of the time. And what this breakout one is going to draw a box like it did here, high and low. And we're going to look for a breakout into US30, a breakout on US30 away from that with the 8:30 news up until 10 o'clock past the market open. The HFT, I do believe at 8:30 will start trading. We will watch and see. Into US30, a breakout on US30 away from that with the 8:30 news up until 10 o'clock past the market open. All right, the HFT, sure I do believe at 8:30 right. Will start trading. We will watch and see. And all right, I got that link up there, so I'm not going to watch that. Everything looks to be streaming right. So the other one here in the background, as we said, is the J-blank. So yesterday I ran this HFT and it did make $4,580 with minimal drawdown. So it can be used to pass prop firm challenges for those people that want to do that. I am staying away from prop firm challenges. And then the Ranger, basically I sat down with J-blank a week or so ago on the on a chat, on a counseling coaching session, I believe he calls it. He does a coaching session. And he asked what I was working on, and I told him I was working on this EA passing bot or this breakout, US30 breakout bot. I think Omega, there's a couple other names it's marketed under, and described how it worked. And that's pretty simple. And he went ahead and put together, we discussed it, his own version of it. And he actually went in and grabbed the code right there and did it while we were on the chat, which I'm not that good at. I actually have been working on writing code myself, but I'm not nearly as good as he is or fast. But so he set up parameters, and let's just take a look at the properties on this. Oops. Well, you can't see the whole thing, so don't need my key there, but the API key. So he does have an API key that basically gives you access. If someone tries to hack mine, I'll have them change it. Didn't show the whole thing anyway. I'll edit that out later, I guess. But so basically, on this, it gives you a number of the risk that you're willing to take percentage-wise of your account, and then it draws your box. Start time, end time, and then end of trade time, obviously. Stop loss, and then take profit. Okay, we've got our box drawn over here for our 8:30. So let me close this up and see what we're doing. So here's this on the J blank one. It does not draw a box on the, and it runs on the 1 minute. On the EA passing bot, it draws its box here. So we're looking for a breakout in US30 from that. And let's just jump over to the HFT and see if it's taken any trades yet. It is not. So it might take trades at 9:30. Let me actually look at the history. It took just an absolute ton of trades yesterday. Let's see what time it takes those trades. 16:30 looks like when it starts taking the trades. So that one actually trades at 9:30. So we won't be, we might stream that long, but I doubt it. We may jump back in at 9:30. Let's see, we got some comments. Which HFT bot is best in your opinion? Timo, I wish I had a best. I guess the question other isn't really best, but it's what works for you and what your goal is. And there's just a ton of them out there. My goal, since I'm not doing prop firms anymore, is to try and find things that I can truly run on live accounts and make real money into my pocket. The problem with HFT bots, not that most brokers ban HFT bots, but most brokers don't, they only let you have so many orders in a day. So if you get past that orders in a day, then you won't be able to make it. Cancels your account and it'll close it down. So we went down. Excuse me, I'm going to cough here. Got to get my morning coffee going. So we talked. We talked about it, and we looked at Securities. They don't necessarily limit the number of orders per day. And I talked to another broker that's not yet accepting U.S. clients, but they said specifically it's only a matter of if they can pass that to the liquidity provider and the liquidity provider accepts it, will they accept an HFT bot? And as long as it's not an arbitrage latency bot, which basically takes advantage of a fast feed and a slow feed, most liquidity providers will accept it if they can basically pass it up to the next level. So I don't know what is the best HFT bot. I tested this one yesterday, and it has almost zero drawdown and picked up almost 50% account balance. So if we make it to 9:30, we'll see. But yesterday, basically, this trades. Now, keep in mind that lots on an index on Securities are higher. They're smaller. One lot is less money. So this one trades. I believe when we look at the history, this was trading 10 lots of US30, and a lot of them the profit is zero, right? It just breaks even. It doesn't make a ton of money. Whoops. So let's just pop this up to the whole. I can't do the whole screen, can I? Oh, I can probably do it that way. Nope. Let's do this. But so what we'll notice here when we scroll up on profit, like a lot of them are zero, but they'll pick up $6, $16, and it did make, just thousands of trades. Just a lot of them, because there's zero fee for trading indices on OX, there's no commission, it can just run this at a super tight stop loss. And see there, it did take a $24 loss, but right after a $26 gain. And it just keeps nailing small profits in and out, in and out, in and out to the market. And it does take some losses, but it runs a super tight stop loss. And in the time frame that it knocked that out, I think 20 minutes or so, which it may not. I have to go back and do the orders and count the orders, because if you want to stay within the 2,000 orders rule, it may only be able to run for 10 minutes on a live. but we've got some guys on the J Blank community. They're going to be testing that this morning to see if it'll run live. So, but in that time frame, in 20 minutes, it did make $4,500. So I think this easily would pass a prop firm that allowed HFTs. I know some other people are using it to do just that. In fact, if someone has a prop firm, I'll throw this out there. We can test it. If I don't have any prop firm accounts. If someone has a prop firm account that they want to test it on, don't blame me if it doesn't work. But I am more than willing, if they want to give me access to their server so they're maintaining the same IP address, I am more than willing to test this out on someone else's prop firm if they so desire. In the US, we've gotten rid of, they're blocking all the prop firms, and I just stopped using them. Let's take a look. Ooh, we're getting close up here to the 1 minute moving into the buy stop. So it does. This one will switch over. Oh, and Philly-ish. Does that mean you're from the Philly area, Philly-ish, like you're kind of Philly? Or does that mean you're kind of like a Philly? Let me know, because I like that name. But you said I should do this more often, maybe once a week. If people like this and people want to see me do this, I have no problem running this, the live streams more often. Let me look and see how our analytics are doing right now. Looks like we do have some viewers right now, a few. I like that. And so ask your questions then in the Telegram chat. If you want to ask, you can ask in the EA and Trading Bot chat. Rajput asked if anyone's using the Golden Pickaxe EA separately. Yes, Raj, I am using the Golden Pickaxe in portfolio mode, and I actually think that portfolio mode in the Golden Pickaxe has helped me not go into such big drawdown. And I'm not exactly sure why the settings are doing that, but I have been seeing that. So we did not have any major news this morning that pushed either of these, which I was wondering if it would do an 8:30 push. But what we're seeing here is this pushes up. This literally is set to trade at, once again, higher volume. So this is set to trade 25 on this J Blank version. 25 lots of US30. And it's really looking at grabbing just 1% profit in the morning. So we'll see if this runs and if it actually works. It does look like it's pushing up and may grab that. And then we've got the Longhorn. The Longhorn running the EA passing bot, where we do see that we've got our box drawn. Let's see if we can zoom in on that some. So we do have our box drawn from the high and low from the hour before, and it won't take that trade until it reaches a breakout. Philly-ish. Yeah, you're from Philly. Great. Absolutely. Love it. If you guys if you're watching this, it looks like we do have a few live viewers. If you would drop in the chat where you're from and what you're trading this morning. And if you've got any questions, obviously you can ask them in there. But right now I'll tell you, Philly, the reason I don't do a lot of live trading videos, and I've done some, and I actually like to do it because I like the interaction, but the reason I don't do a ton of them is now it's like watching paint dry. I hate to say it, this is rather boring. So unless there's something super active going, it's really hard to make sitting here watching a candle or a chart or anything else super exciting. So that's all there is to it. That's kind of why I don't do a lot of lives. But honestly, when it comes to YouTube numbers and watchability, like, people watch the live streams, and it really does, even though it's only a few people, the ones that do tune in. So if you're running your own YouTube channel, the people that do tune in to the lives will actually sit there and watch it. So as long as you keep running the lives, you do pick up quite a bit of watch time. Timo's waiting on a good short entry on pound US dollar. Let's see. Let's take a look at my charts here while we're waiting. This is all demo money. Okay, I'm not a financial advisor, guys. I gotta say that out there. Let's see here. See what we got going here on US30 is not much. Let's pull in the pound dollar chart while we're waiting. So, Timo, do you trade longer or shorter entries on pound dollar? It looks, man, I hate to say it, this chart, now this is the safety trade chart. I know people ask me if I still use that. I do. I really do like it for looking for entry and exits. It's just down here is just momentum oscillators. And then you've got your moving average crossovers up here. You got your longer moving average and shorter. He has different names for them. I'm not going to try and figure out exactly all what they are, but basically this is just in an upward trend on the 1 hour. Let's look at the 4 hour. Man, I don't see a good short entry point anywhere in here yet. This is his blue line, which is his long moving average. When the 4 hour comes up, or let's see. Yeah, I think this has still got some upward momentum going. It doesn't look like it's ready to flip yet at all. Oh, that's the New Zealand dollar. We were looking at pound. See, look at me. Looking at the wrong chart. Clicked on the wrong. Pound US dollar, didn't you say? Still a lot of green. 24 hour. Yeah, I think this is, I mean, there was a good short entry back in here where it switched, but I don't even think then I would have taken it. Man, that just looks like all upward momentum right now. How's the EU scalper bot performing? Also loving the PAM account on LQDFX. Looks like it can last for years to come. As long as they don't change anything, I would agree that the LQDFX PAM can run. I think in the end that's going to end up going in the name of a friend of mine that is not a U.S. citizen for certain reasons. How is the scalper going? Let's take a look and see if I can pull that up. Actually, it might be on one of these servers here. We can look right at it. Here is the scalper account. And this is a $2,000 account. Let's close this out so it's not in the way here. Give us more space. I've made withdrawals on it, but it's just plugging away. My opening lot size is 0.02, and all history on there, all in on the history. In total, it's made me $2,200, and I've withdrawn quite a bit. As every time it goes up to 3,000, I'm pulling out money on that. That's just the way I'm doing it. It is a high risk bot. So there you go. Got a quick little look at the scalper. And what I like, if you've got a larger account, or what I do on one of my larger accounts, I keep that scalper at a very low risk setting, 0.01, 0.02. But in a larger account, you can run that in the background, and it really makes more, like, it just knocks out $20, $30, $50 a day. So if you've got a large account where you're running a very slow bot, but you want to see it just a little bit of money, I like that in there. Pull it. Have you been watching the Waka Waka drawdown? Yes, I have been. Mine right now on my Waka Waka account, which is I think right around $6,000, is in about $1,100 drawdown. So 18-19%. So it's not. Oh, we got a little bit of movement here. We'll jump in over here real quick. as the US30 pushes up. So both these do look like they write about the same buy stops, different lot sizes, but we'll see how this works out. I'm thinking with this slow moving market, if it keeps moving up, both these could make money. So Waka Waka, back to Waka Waka question. Yeah, I do. And when I'm seeing the larger positions move down and kind of into a profitable $100 to $200 profit, and some of those are 3 lots, 3-ish lots or 1.6-ish lots, I'm actually manually looking at that. I then go back and look at the chart for the momentum and which way I think the market's moving, and I'm actually closing those out for $100 to $200 in profit. And what I'm doing is I see that every day or two. Well, if I'm in a $1,200 drawdown overall, and in the next 12 days I see a couple $100 profits, I can basically lock in $600 of profits in case something happens. So that's what I'm doing personally. And yes, it does mean it won't close those trades out as soon, but I do think once we see the reversal in the trends of that chart, that it's going to come down and we'll still close the trade that I needed to close. So that's what I'm doing, is I am kind of manually taking control over Waka Waka and PAI in those Australian tide trades. I believe it's Aussie CAD or Aussie New Zealand right now that is really running. And that's just my personal choice. I do think that because I am running it in conjunction with Golden Pickaxe, it's kept me from getting as deep into it as what it was. I hope that answers your question. If we want to look more at Waka Waka, we can do that. I can pull it up and I can kind of show you what I'm doing. Philly-ish. What do you say? Great performance on the scalper. What's the mad drawdown you've seen? The max drawdown, I guess, you've seen on the scalper. Let me pull up while we're waiting on this to break out of the box. This is why it's so boring. I almost didn't do this. I would kind of brought in the HFT as a backup for some action in case we got something. But since we got people watching, asking questions, I got zero problems sharing. I hope people know that. I want everyone to learn from this, and I want everyone to make money from this, even if it's just demo dollars, fake dollars, whatever it may be. I hope that this is a learning experience. But let me pull up the MyFX book on the Euro scalper, and we'll pull that into the chart here. Nothing looks like we got any action going, so we won't miss anything. All right, how's that look on the screen? We've got a little bit of a delay, but okay. So on the Euro scalper, I did run into up to a 34% drawdown, but what you'll notice is that was really early, and this doesn't really show the drawdown as it should on this drawdown chart. Don't love it. But that was really early here where I ran into the drawdown mostly. And when I started this, actually in February, you'll notice I did better, 46%. But if we go to the history on that, I started it on a more high risk level, which was a 0.04 lot. And actually it kind of got to too much drawdown, more than I liked it. So after about a week, don't get me wrong, it made money. It didn't blow the account. Those were both great. But after about a week, I cut it back on a $2,000 account to a 0.02 opening lot. So that's, and I am running that on LQDFX on a 1 to 300. The reason I picked LQDFX for this, if you, well, obviously you have an LQDFX account because you looked, but the reason I picked it is because of it's got a lower commission and it's got a super tight spread on Euro, 0 to 1 point spread during the day. So what that does for me is I think it's more profitable for the scalper to run with a super tight spread and the lower commission, obviously. So let's go back and check. And is Philly-ish asked, is the Euro scalper bot free? Absolutely, it's free. I don't charge for any of my bots. Well, none of them are my bots, but I don't charge if it's something I found online for free. I have been working on coding my own stuff, and maybe we'll charge a small amount. But in the look at the pin messages, but there's a link in my Telegram group, and I'll throw it. I think I can throw it up in the chat here for free. Any of the free EAs that we test that we find. Let me just there we go. Copy that. I can throw that into the chat right here. I think. Yep. There you go. That will give you a link to any of the free stuff, and that's actually got the Euro Scalper, a couple different versions of the Euro Scalper, and one that is the source code, as well as one that's been adjusted so you can back test it, because the original version wasn't back testable. No, Philly's asking a ton of questions. Absolutely. No, questions are great. That's how we learn. I believe that everyone should be able to ask questions, and actually that's probably what's going to make this live successful and interesting to watch, is that we are asking questions, because the breakout bot is doing nothing. So unless we run this live for another 40 minutes and catch the HFT in action, there really is nothing else to see right now, because unfortunately it literally is just stagnated right in here in this opening candles of the 8:30. Just within this block from the last hour, it just hasn't done anything, which is not a big deal, but yeah, it is what it is. Do I shut the bot down during news? Are you asking about which bot are you asking about? The Euro Scalper? I actually don't shut that one down during the news. I have news bots that trade the news, and then I have that I've been testing. Nothing's been successful yet. Well, let's switch back. Let's go. Try and get this back where it's. All right. But so I do have bots that trade the news. I do not turn the Euro Scalper off during the news. What I found with the Euro Scalper is, it doesn't say it, but it looks like it only takes one trade per candle, I'm assuming. But in high volume news events where the market really pushes, it might only make one trade, and then it waits until it slows down. So it just scales in. And if you're already scaled in, a lot of times it will scale in. It'll close out those trades because the news swings both directions. It does have a filter, which I've left in the way it came. On the Euro Scalper, I've left that filter in place, and it's a time filter. So I think it's Thursday, maybe Thursday morning, it automatically shuts off, which there's a lot of high action news on Thursday morning. And then Friday afternoons, I believe it shuts itself off. So I guess to say I don't turn it off during the news, I don't change any other settings that are already there. And I do think Thursday mornings are filtered out. So, well, other than chatting, I was really hoping we'd see some action on one of these, on the US30 breakout bots. Do you guys who are watching, throw in a comment, let me know. Do you want to leave this live streaming and see if anything happens, or do you want to try and come back and I can restart the live stream at just before 9:30 and we can watch this HFT bot work at 9:30? Let me know what you guys want to do. I don't care. I scheduled this to do just what we're doing, which is I take the time to live stream. Let's pull up that HFT. I think that's going to be at 9:30, so. And that is an MT5. I do like it's an MT5 HFT. So one of the things about Jay Blanked is he is running he's running a lot of stuff on the HFT. Planning on running the EU scalper on XNES broker. I think it's a great bot. I plan on running it on 2K at 0.01. Yeah, I think that, and I don't know on that broker what their spread is on US30. I would say run it on a demo first. Always run the demo first and see how it does, knowing that the demo is usually going to be better than anything that runs live. And the reason the demos are better is because there's zero latency in the execution. So all the orders are executed exactly when the market theoretically would execute them. The only other issue with running the demos, I guess theoretically you could have one where perfect execution where you actually made money because of imperfect execution when it goes in your favor, but in general it does not. So that's, just run it with a demo first on that broker and make sure that everything works right. Those settings work for it, just in case. What do I think of the Algocrat? That would be Valerie's new crypto broker or crypto one. I signed up for it, pull it, and I haven't tested it yet. I was kind of disappointed when I found out that it was a copy trading service and not a bot that I could run on my own. I don't know if they did that. I'm not sure exactly why they did that, but I've run bots on Binance or Bybit through APIs in the past, and so I do know how to do that. So it may have just been an issue of trying to the ease of connecting for people, or it might have been more of a way to maintain it. I'm not opposed to paying a percent of profit on a copy trading service, but I kind of like personally to run my own. I do allow people to copy some of my stuff, but I haven't really launched that service. But in my mind, I do that because a lot of people don't want to learn how to run the bots themselves. And I think the people in my Telegram community and the ones that follow me on YouTube do so because they want to learn to run it themselves. So to answer your question, I am going to wait and see what people say about it before I try and put money into it. Also, the minimum was $25K. And while theoretically I could come up with that money, it wasn't really in my budget to do that. Which version of the EU scalper are you using? Philly-ish. If you look at that, let me find. I think if you look at the one posted in the free EAs one on January 25th, that's the exact version I'm using. But if you look at the ones that were posted April 4th, those are the same ones, except that they've been edited. The MQ4 is the source code, and then the EX4 has been edited so you can run the back test on it. That's the only difference. And I didn't do the editing. I honestly wish I could remember who in the group sent that to me. But I get so many people that send it to me. I apologize. I can't give the person credit because I can't remember which, like 5 people sent me that version. I can't remember all of who sent it to me. Keep it running, please. All right, we can keep this going. I may have to go get a fresh cup of coffee, but we can keep this going. We may have to take a couple minute break. But pull it. You heard that Algocrat is a collab with another company. That very much does look like what that is. And they haven't come out and said that, but that does look like what it is it's a collaboration with a different developer. It's also a break from her style of development, which is to sell the bot. And but I can't be too mad, even if it's her development. What I'm seeing, and if what we've all seen, is she comes out with a brand new bot, and within a few months there's cracked versions of it all over the web. And I hate to say it, but that's part of the problem with developers, and the reason I do try and buy them when I can from the developer. If they're a profitable bot, I try and buy it because that's what keeps developers developing. And people out there that are just cracking bots and stealing them, I get that some of these bots are expensive, but at the same time, if we keep doing that and as a group we don't pay for the developers to develop, there's no profitability, there's no reason for them to put out new stuff. So that's kind of why I do that. And even with this, like this Euro scalper, I did go in and look for the developer, and I actually purchased their newer version. I did not purchase it with the source code. It wasn't nearly as profitable, but it did work, and I am running that on a demo. I think I'm still running that on a demo to test it. So while we are running this older version of the Euro scalper, I actually did go out and fork out the $100 for the new version. And at least in my mind, I feel like I've paid the developer for something and their work, and they can continue to develop. Hopefully they will continue to develop, because that's what we need, is new innovation. I'm going to take a break and drink a sip of coffee here. All right. One last, if it's your last question, Philly-ish, then I've got nothing else for this stream because you're keeping it going. But let's take a look here. So do you have a setup video? So I do think I show the video for setup. And let me, I don't know if I have that pulled up. Let me see if I have that. That would have been back in January where I tested it, I think. Yeah, here, I'll throw that link up there in the chat. I think that's the initial one, and that should show the setup. That should show the setup of it, but really the only thing that I change on there is the lot size. That's all I change on there. I let everything else run the way it is. If you pull the backtest version, and that's the one that says BT on it, Euro USD scalper BT, you can play with those settings and see what happens. So we'll see. Let's see. Pull it. Do I see Waka Waka improving, or would it be a finished product? Do you mean, is she going to make improvements to the bot, or do you mean, are the trends going to reverse and become long-term profitable? So that's a good question. I don't know what Valerie Trading's plans are. I do believe that she has made improvements overall to the bots in the last 6 months, one of which is adding portfolio mode. And I think, honestly, that portfolio mode is what's keeping me from being in such big drawdown as other people. I looked at, specifically at PAI, I looked at one running portfolio mode and one that was not, both on Ox, testing them, and the one that's running portfolio mode with Golden Pickaxe was in much less drawdown than the one that was not. So my assumption is there's a setting that I don't know exactly what it is in portfolio mode that's basically spreading the risk out and keeping me from getting as deep into trades. So I think in general, yes, those are the mean revision pairs. You're going to run into times where mean revision pairs or any given pair doesn't act the way it's acted. However, keeping in mind the whole reason they are mean revision pairs, and if you look at the overall look, and let's just look at, let me pull up the chart for, let's take a look at I won't throw this on the screen because it doesn't really matter, but I'm just going to look at my open trades real quick. So odd New Zealand and odd CAD are my open trades on Waka Waka right this moment, and I'm at a $1,000, about a $1,000 drawdown. So let's look at that odd New Zealand. I think is the one that everyone's talking about here, where everyone's getting stuck in it. Let's find odd New Zealand. Well, we're still waiting for our breakout bot to do something worthwhile. So let's just look at the overall trend on this odd New Zealand. And what we're going to see is overall, it's been pushing up very slowly. And I think that's, let's go over to maybe the 4-hour chart. And this is what we're seeing here on this 4-hour chart is it's just been since about late February here, it switched into this upward pattern and it just hasn't had a whole lot of pullback. And that's what we need on these designs is we need this to pull back into this range down here in order to close that out. What I'm seeing though on these momentum indicators, and that's on the 4-hour, let's look at the 1 day. And once again, we're seeing back from February 24th this pull up, but what I'm seeing on these momentum indicators is that we're starting to flatten out here. Right? So I would expect this to flatten out. I would expect these moving averages to come tighter, and I would expect to see a pullback here. And if you look over time, while it does have, let's look back over here. So up to January 2023, right? So it does have some room to really hit another peak. But if you look, we hit that bottom right there. When was that? January or March 3rd, right there. What's January? So see this bottom right here? Let's see if we can move this up a little bit. Right there. If you look back into 2023, it's hit this bottom multiple times. And it reverses. Here, it reversed. That's where it hit the bottom. There. And it had a big reversal. It hit the bottom here. Right there. And it had a big reversal. And once again, February 2024, see where we're at on this chart? We're right bouncing off the same bottom and we're having a big reversal. So if we're looking at the big picture, we are having a big reversal. Could this pair push further up? Yeah, it could. Here, here, and here. But what I'm seeing is up, and right now we're starting to see the candles. If this daily candle turns, let's zoom in on this, and then we have another red daily candle, I would expect to start seeing this down. Once again, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. This is just what I'm looking at the chart and seeing on this. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. So don't trade just because I say so. Do your own due diligence. But that's what I'm seeing is that this really is peaking up. It may go a little further up. But overall, I think right now, if you just check in on your Waka Waka bot every day, what I'm doing is I check in 2 or 3 times a day. And if I see a chance on that larger trade, if you're into, it depends on what size your account is, but into that 6th or 7th trade, 5th, 6th, or 7th, and it's in profit, I'm grabbing a little profit because I can grab $100 a day and I'm only an $1,100 drawdown. 11 days of grabbing that $100, I can close it all out for a wash if I want, or I can keep letting it play. So no, I don't think Waka Waka is finished. I think overall it's continued to make profit over 66 months or 69 months. If it has a losing month, which I don't even know if it's going to have, but if it does have a losing month, so be it. You can't, I guess I don't want to say you can't win all the time because I feel like you can, but that's just it. Did it not, I'm looking at the chart on my live. Did it not pull in that chart? People, let me know because the live stream doesn't seem to show it, but my personal studio does. Interesting. I'm not sure what's going on there. Is the live frozen? All right. Looks like we are back. We did open up a trade. No, did we? We're right at opening up a trade. Okay. Let's see here. Longhorn EA passing version has opened up a trade, and the J blank version as did not. Oh wow, we are super delayed on the charts. I'm looking at my stream versus what's going on. That's we're running quite a bit of a delay for some reason. And I don't know why. So yeah, interesting. We are running quite a bit of a delay on there. I'm just seeing now that chart pop up on the live stream, and that was a couple minutes. So we're running about 20 or 30-second delay. For some reason, we've gotten into a multiple minute delay, and I don't know if there's any way to change that. But so it looks like we did take a trade. Let's pull this over just a little bit. And we're in this trade, and what we'll see is if this continues to push down, then it will move into profit, and then it'll run this trailing stop down. Let's see, what time is it? Here, 9:11. So right about 9:10. About 9:10 it took that trade or so. 9:09. I'm looking at. Oh, 9:06 it took that trade while we were talking about the other chart. So I don't have much more. We are in one trade. Looks like it's on the 1 minute chart. It's going to reverse up. And what we'll see is these are our stop losses, which in this account would be a $400 loss. It is a demo money, so it is what it is. And this one has been very up and down. Some mornings it wins and some mornings it does not. On the J Blank Ranger, it did not enter that trade. His low, on the 1 minute chart, it pulled a much lower low on the Ox. Maybe it could be the feeds. That looks like it's right around 38,955, where this entered the trade at $38,924. So that's 100% is a difference in the feeds and the values of the feeds, it looks like. So this definitely had hit a lower low in the morning. All right. I know everyone's watching, and I appreciate that, and we're going to stay live, but I am at the bottom of my cup of coffee, and we've got about 15 minutes till market open, so I'm going to leave this feed running, but I am going to go run and get a cup of coffee. Please don't leave me, because it will be boring 5 minutes, but we will be back for market open. Alrighty, I am back. That wasn't as long. Let's see. Did we close this trade? Looks like it did close that trade out today, right there, for a loss, for a $400 loss. And if you notice, it resets. So I've got this one to make up to 5 trades in a day on Longhorn. The J blanked one only takes 1 trade. So it's looking for a 1% profit in the market, and it only takes the 1 trade. So I got my fresh cup of coffee. I got to get up and stretch my back out. It does look like I lost a few viewers in that. I get it. But hopefully we'll pick up some more. And I'm just going to throw up in the... oh, sorry. It looks like Johnny in Telegram. Johnny, are you here watching with us live? I don't know. Let's see if... took a loss on OddCAD yesterday. He's fed up with Waka Waka. And he's reducing his lot sizes. I get it. Goldbot is active, putting more faith into that. Gold is active right now, so the gold bots are making money. But always keep in mind that because that can trend very heavily one direction, they have their risks as well. And he said it's not a great environment for mean revision. I think it's that Aussie economy right now is pushing hard against the others. But I think if the risk settings are right, I think we'll recover from this. At least my bots look like they will. I can't talk about anyone else's. But that's also is why I jump in and look for other options of other bots, because I don't want to put all my money into mean revision pairs. I don't want to put all my money into a martingale grid strategy, or as I heard someone else did a really great wording the other day, instead of saying a modified martingale, because they're not all true martingales, but a modified martingale, and they called it more like a dollar cost averaging system, which is what it truly is, which then reduces the entry point and gives it a chance to exit the trade with a shorter pullback, I think is how they put it. It was interesting wording. I actually may have to go back and watch what they said, because I really like the way they worded that. Nothing like some nice hot coffee. All right, so let's see. I've only got Pullet and Philly-ish that have made comments recently, but it looks like we do have more viewers than that. So do me a favor. If you are in the chat, before we hit that, type in a comment for me, because it does help the YouTube algorithms. Let me know where you're watching from. And we've got 9 more minutes to market open. And so hopefully we'll see some movement on the US30 that will help us with the HFT and these breakout bots. In the meantime, while we've got that 9 more minutes going, if you have questions, throw them in the chat and ask. All right. Sorry, I was responding to a text message. Not related to my live stream. So let's take a look here. What do we got? We have, let's see how this HFT is forming up. I leave myself just enough room to squeeze in there and click on it. All right, HFT is forming up on the one, and that also is running on the 1 minute Dow Jones or US30 chart. And we'll set this open trades up so we can watch. I will probably go back and try and count how many orders. I'll pull the stats and count how many orders it actually makes, because I think that's going to be important for if it's able to be run on a live account. And then I'll get the reports back of the people that are testing it on live accounts from the Discord group and see They were going to put it on some $500 accounts this morning and see what happens. Looks like we're getting a little push up. If it holds, that may actually open up some trades for us in on both of the breakout bots. Kind of waiting to see how much of a delay we're still at. We're running at right at an hour. I appreciate everyone that has stayed in to watch this this morning for this market open. And looks like it's going to get us a nice little push up before the 9:30 bell here, and may enter into some longs. Yep. All right. So this just entered on the J blanked one. It entered, and it also entered on the EA passing one. And the J blank, it's done that quick. It closed it out for a $75 profit. And it's done for the day. That's the one trade it's going to make. And we can see right here the entry point and the exit. And it's in and out of the market. Today it was a $75 profit. So that's a $10,000 demo account. So it wasn't a full 1%, but it did push it up and it did take the profit out. So once again, very interesting on this one that it just is taking that one trade at the market between 8:30 and 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. And that's 2 days in a row. So we'll let that keep running on a demo. And if it keeps working, then I will probably throw that on a live account and see if it can't take 1% a day. I'd be super stoked with that. And it does have super low drawdown on that as well. I'm going to go ahead and close that because it won't make any more trades. And we'll pull up the US30 HFT, also running on an Ox demo account, 1 to 500 leverage. And right now it's a $14,000. It was yesterday. It was a $10,000 demo. Today it's a $14,000 demo. Got a few more minutes to market open. Looks like this might just pull back and give us another $400 loss, much to my dismay on this EA passing one. What I have noticed, there it goes. It just closed another one out for a loss. So that's two today, two $400 losses on that. Demo money only, guys. There's only demo money we're testing. What I have noticed is on the days where it has good breakouts, it makes big money. $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 sometimes. $2,000, I think. Maybe it's the most I've seen on this one. But we are starting to get some movement and interesting here. So just let's see what time we got. It's 9:26. That's what time it is. And we are getting a little bit of market movement. So it did push up here. It's getting its little pullback. Don't know which way it's going to break this morning. I don't have my other chart pulled up. I guess I should have had that pulled up just for fun. We could make predictions. But yeah, we've got this running and see what happens and see if it gets a good 9:30 push and makes up for this $400 loss or $800 loss on this demo this morning. Actually do think I'm going to try and code my own version of this. Maybe even look at and talk with Jacoby J. Blanked and ask him if he would help me on the coding basically one like he did. That might be something I'll work on this week if I have time. my coding skills are minimal, so it will take me a week for someone that could code to do what they do in an hour, but that's okay. It's all about learning new things. Did I lose all of you? I haven't seen any comments. I don't know how much of a delay we're on at this point. Looks like it's still showing that we have 5 viewers. I thank each and every one of you for still being here. And we're about 2 minutes to market open. So I'm waiting for this HFT to kick off and see what it does. Hopefully it's exciting to watch. Zulin, you're here. Where are you watching us from, Zulin? Zulan? All right, 1 minute. We should be seeing some action on the market here. See what makes us money and what doesn't. Sweden, absolutely wonderful. I'm glad to have you here from Sweden. What's the weather like there in Sweden this time of year? I'm assuming it's still pretty cold, being a little further north. Okay, let's see. Pushing up on the market, 929. US30's pushing up. We just entered another trade on the EA passing bot. I'm hoping this doesn't just pull right back and keep costing us money. And we should see the HFT kick off here the minute it rolls into 930, start making us trades. There it goes. Boom, $24. I saw profit there. HFT is just going crazy. And here's our US30 bot. So what we're hoping on this is that it just gets up enough that it starts pulling this trailing stop up with it and locks in the profit. Spring weather, 16 degrees Celsius and sunny. Crisp and clear. I like that. All right, looks like the EA passing bot took another loss as it dropped down, and we are grinding out some profit on the HFT this morning. Let's see, we're going down. HFT's up maybe 500, and that's been what, 1 minute? Well, if we get 20 minutes of $500, I can take that. And the EA passing, it's taken 3 losses this morning because it keeps bouncing up here and hitting the lines and then rolling right back. There we go. Now that should be, did it not take that open trade? Should have reset that. Did it never reset here? Or are we in a trade? Deleted, no money. Didn't have the money to take that trade? Well, that's very disappointing. Seems this one did not take the trade this morning, and that would be profit for us. I don't know what the issue was, why it did not take that 0.2 US30 trade, because this would have been a profitable trade right there for us. That's very disappointing. And we're 2 minutes in, and the HFT is just grinding away here. Oh, look at that. I see a lot of blue in this MT5 chart. I'm seeing some red also, but we're at 15,255. Yeah, not enough balance for the last buy stop. Absolutely. And maybe I should have put this on a lower lot size. I may drop it down to something smaller tomorrow to keep it running on this account. But that's unfortunate that it didn't make that trade, because I think that would have been money for us. No, this Zulin, this HFT is just running on a demo account. For this HFT to work, it requires low or no commission, because the commission will wipe out most of the profit. So I'm running this on Securities. I did say earlier, if someone has a challenge they want to try and run this on, I will be more than willing to hook it up to their challenge and see what happens. This is J blanked. So it does take hooking up it does take hooking it up to and then authorizing the account in the back office. So I'm going to go ahead and close out these for right now, this EA30 passing bot, because it has, or the EA30, EA passing bot, because it has not opened the trade, and I'll adjust the numbers. Nice. You're using the Royal Hedge HFT. I used that when I was doing the passing, and never had a problem with it. There were mornings where it would either break even or didn't make a ton of money, or maybe even lost a little bit. But every challenge I ran using that one worked fine. But as always, I'm always looking for different options. So let's just pop this up. To the full screen here. And we'll keep watching this trade. And we are we're 5 minutes in. I think we were at 14,900-ish, or 14,800, maybe 14,900-ish to start this when it opened 5 minutes ago, and it's at 15,651. So we're up, $700-ish, give or take. And we'll just keep letting this go until it stops. I believe it's going to run for about 20 minutes. So we'll stay live and watch that. If it's too boring, I get it. But I figure we're here now. We might as well stay live and see how it works. Let me throw a little chart shift in there and move it over. I hate it when it's right up next to the edge of the chart, because I just feel like it's just too close and too touching. And where are we at? We're at 7 minutes in, still pumping out profit, up about $1,000 this morning on a demo account. I'll be honest, if this worked on a live account, I could turn this off right now and be very happy making $1,000 a day. definitely, if this, I'd have to check the prop firm, but I do think this would probably work for passing prop firm challenges. It depends on if the prop firm demo that it's using, what the commission was on it. It would have to be really low. That's the only thing on this, is because it uses high lot size to make it work. It does, and very short take profits, that commissions do tend to tear it up. But if you can actually see, it just runs with such a super tight stop loss. And the spread, what is their spread this morning? Let's. So US30 right now, we're running at a 140 spread, which is $1.40 on the chart. All right, we got about 10 more minutes before I wrap this up. I will wrap this up at 9:50. Does anyone have any more questions about anything before we wrap this up? I'm going to butcher this name. Haken Goons. Can you please check the stop loss and compare to the actual spread, or compare to actual spread? So the actual spread, I just pulled that up on US30 right now, is 140. That's going to be their live spread, if that's what you're asking. And then the stop loss, let's see where the in this expert, if it shows us. I'll pull it up and we'll look. But if I remember correctly, in the set file, the stop loss is really tight, but I don't know if it shows it in his sets, because his stuff is all kind of, I don't want to say black box, but there's not a whole lot of settings that you can adjust. It's kind of set to run. We can look at the history on one of these and see, okay, the stop loss, the price, 79.30, and it literally was stop lost there when it got out. What was the entry price? Okay, so that was real close. So it looks like the stop loss was $2 from the opener on that. Oh no, it trailed it up. Where's our entry? So a lot of these, it's just opening up and it is just zero. It breaks even because it hits the stop loss. Because I think it might get rejected because it's so tight that it wouldn't open it. I know there's two guys that are going to try it on live this morning. The problem with running it on even on a demo where there's a commission is that it eats up the commission. So let me actually see if anyone ran it this morning. Jump into his Discord and see what people say. All right. So he ran it on live. And yeah, I think you're saying exactly what you're saying is the stop loss looks like they're delaying the order and the stop loss is too tight. Yep. So to answer your question, yeah, this looks interesting. And we wanted to run it on demo. And two guys did test it on live this morning and both said the stop losses, just like you said, were too tight and didn't work. So looks like we're back to the drawing board on this one and trying to figure out what needs to be changed to make it run. And it does look like some other brokers said they ran it successfully on live, and then they got blocked by the broker. So back to the drawing board. I'm going to let this run for 5 more minutes because it's interesting. And I said I would be here till 9:50, but I do believe you're correct that the stop loss, and I'm just looking at other people's reports from this morning where they were testing on live, that the stop loss was too tight. And I'm going to ask if they know exactly what was going on. I think it's just also going to be the feed. It's just too tight on the feed. So I'm looking. I'm talking with Jacoby right now, and he says the stop loss was set for a break even, but he kept getting stopped out at 2.4 pips lower than what it was set for. And so it's just going to be the slippage just isn't letting the HFT run on the live. But that's why we test it on a demo and see if it works, and then we take small amounts and test it on live. And luckily, in the J Blank community, that we've got lots of people, so I don't have to be the only one that tests it on live money first. All right. Thank you very much for everyone that's mentioned and made comments. If you would, do hit the thumbs up button. That does help me with the YouTube algorithms. Hakan Goons, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you very much for your comments. I agree with you. It's interesting. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like this is working on a live account. But I wonder if we can't. I'm going to play with some others and see if we can't find something that will work. If anyone has a HFT that might work on a live account, regardless of order numbers, let me know. I will demo it, and we will see if we can get it to work on live, because, we're all about making money, even if it's demo money. So it is 9:50, 9:49. We did make, we did make 3/4 of a point on the Ranger, testing that this morning. Everything else seems to, HFT looks good, but it probably won't run live, so that's a bust. And the US30 breakout didn't make the trade either, ran out of money. So we're back to the drawing board on that one. But I think overall it can work. I think it just needs some tweaking on the numbers. So I'm signing off, guys, 9:50. And it looks like the HFT bot is done trading as well. So I will see you guys on the next one.